Hello, brothers and sisters. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dewey Hickman, and today I've been asked to speak about the importance of following the prophet, no matter what. Sometimes you might not agree with what he says, or you may feel like he's taking you in the wrong direction. That is not a problem with the prophet. That is a problem with you. If you question the prophet, the problem is you have your brain turned on when it shouldn't be, and all that thinking is going to get you in trouble. Here's a simple test to see if you're thinking too much to stay on the good side of the Mormon Church. When you hear the phrase, "I want my life to be as clean as earth right after rain," what do you think of? A pretty primary song, B, a metaphor for the cleansing power of baptism, or C, mud. Earth right after rain is mud. Everyone is singing, "I want my life to be as clean as mud." If your brain is fully engaged, the correct answer is, of course, D. You're still here, and you haven't abandoned this video to binge watch your favorite series on the Heartland model. That's a sure sign that you're using your brain too much to fit in comfortably with the church. In the Mormon Church, using your brain leads to having opinions, which leads to apostasy. For example,
said President Marion G. Romney, he says, one day, when President Grant was living, a man came over to see me. An elderly man. He was very upset about what had been said in this conference by some of the brethren. I said, "Do you believe that Heber J. Grant is a prophet of God?" His answer, "I think he ought to keep his mouth shut about old age assistance." And Brother Romney continues, "Now I tell you that a man in his position is on the way to apostasy. He is forfeiting his chances for eternal life. So is everyone who cannot follow the living prophet of God."
Now, President Benson is not implying that the simple act of disagreeing with the prophet on any given issue is tantamount to high treason in the church. He's directly declaring it. I don't know how to look at this any other way, other than the attitude of not stepping in line with everything the prophet says is your one-way ticket out of the celestial kingdom. You keep that up, my friend, you'll find yourself on the business end of a TK smoothie. That does not make any sense. Christ himself didn't put up with people disagreeing with him on trivial matters, so why would his prophet? Like Jesus himself said, "The Bethlehem Bulldogs are going all the way this year. Disagree with me not, or thou shalt have no part with me, and I shall curse thee like a fig tree." Using your brain can also lead to thinking you know what's right for you when it gets in the way of the LDS Church making its next $1 billion, which makes them cranky and makes you a follower of Satan.
I had an experience once with some members who sought my counsel in this circumstance. They said, "Our parents have told us that they've gotten a revelation that they don't need to pay tithing and they don't need to attend church anymore. What do you think of that?" And I said, "Well, I don't question your parents' revelation, but they got it from the wrong source."
That's right, kids. Would God give you Sundays off and a 10% raise? That might sound good for you, but it would be bad for the church, which means you're getting your signals crossed like the Google algorithm gone wrong. And the next thing you know, I'm getting ads for at-home pregnancy tests and medicine to get my shingles under control. If you think that receiving truth directly from God, the source of all truth, makes more sense than filtering that truth through a bunch of old guys with a history of messing things up, you need to dial your brain activity down to acceptable levels. You'll know you're there when either the things Elder Bednar says starts making sense, or gas station sushi starts tasting good. That's how you know. Either one. How many times have you heard LDS prophets, seers, and or revelators repeat this?
You always keep your eye on the president of the church. And if he tells you to do something wrong, and you do it, the Lord will bless you for it. But you don't need to worry. The Lord will never let his mouthpiece lead this people astray.
This gets repeated somewhat regularly. I'm sure this is supposed to be comforting. You'll be blessed for following the prophet, whether he's right or not. I've been telling you it's best to check your brain in at the door, because here's what it looks like if you don't. God will not allow his prophet to lead you astray. That is so wonderful to be guided by prophets who will never lead us astray. But if he does lead you astray, you should follow the prophet anyways, and you will be blessed. Of course. Wait, say that again? I said you'll be blessed. No, the part before that. If the prophet is wrong, follow him anyways. That's the part. You realize you're explicitly stating that prophets can lead us astray, right after you said God would never allow it. I did, didn't I? How is that even possible? The prophet won't lead us astray. It can't happen. Of course it can't, and it never will. But when it does, and it does pretty often, just do what the prophet says, and it'll be fine. Hold on, I'm still thinking through this. There's your problem. Just turn off your brain. So, if the prophet did something against God's will, like lead me astray, and I followed them, God would bless me for it?
Blessed is he who puts his trust in the arm of flesh. I'm pretty sure the scriptures say.
Yeah, but since when is it okay to follow something that God wouldn't allow?
Since I said so, I am a prophet.
So you're saying that God wouldn't allow it, but prophets do it anyways, so when I choose who to follow, I should choose the prophet?
Yep.
Over God?
I guess so.
And God would bless me for choosing that?
I didn't make the rules.
Sounds kinda man-made to me.
Just follow the prophet, even if he's wrong.
But God wouldn't allow that. Is the prophet more powerful than God? Because you're saying the prophet does things that God would never allow him to do. So he's defying God, and God can't stop him.
You are way overthinking this.
But you're saying God would want me to follow something he would never allow.
Hold on now.
You see the contradictions, right?
Stop. Stop it. Turn off your brain.
But I...
Do it.
Okay.
Bow your head and say yes.
Yes.
That will do. Now go teach your children.
Follow the prophet, turn off your brain.